presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are LA.
The Angels have returned home with a firm grip on the American League West and a ticket to the playoffs well within their grasp. Division rivals Houston, Seattle, and Texas all come to town over the next 10 days, hoping to postpone the Angels' postseason celebration. Angels baseball is next on Fox Sports West.
Long, successful road trip behind the Angels and finally back home here at Angel Stadium, the final homestand of the regular season. Houston Astros in town for the first of three tonight. The Angels with a victory last night, coupled with the Oakland A's loss. And the Angels now have themselves a 10-game lead in the American League West. Magic number stands at 7 to clinch the division. We welcome you back to Angels baseball here on Fox Sports West, along with Mark Gubza. I'm Victor Rojas, and over the last couple of weeks, the Angels have played spectacular baseball. Not only have they continued to pitch well, they have continued to swing the bats, especially over the last week.
Yeah, Victor, it started that 4-game series at home before that long road trip, and take a look at our AT&T U-verse rewind. You'll see when it started, that magical 4-game sweep against the Oakland A's. Mike Trout going big fly, set the tone. Then the club goes on a long road trip. Going to Minnesota, you got a 2-run home run by Howie Kendrick, his second deck, driving the ball. He had an incredible road trip. Cole Calhoun continues not only to swing the bat, but score runs. And when he scores runs, the Angels win. And Albert Pujols tops it off with a triple right down the line. His first triple since 2010, driving in a couple more. He's getting closer to the century mark as far as RBI now with 92 on the season. So the team has been swinging the bat well. Talk about the last 14 games, 12-2. Both those losses at Houston to start that long 10-game road trip. They played well. They've outscored their opponents almost 2-1 during the stretch, and 9 different pitchers have won games during that 12-game streak in which they won 12 of 14 games. That impressive as far as pitching and swinging the bat.
And it was C.J. Wilson on the mound to start that road trip in Houston. The Angels took the loss. C.J.'s back on the hill to face the Astros once again. He'll be opposed by Brett Overholzers. We're just about ready for baseball here at the Big A. Sit back and relax. Lineups and first pitch when we return. Angels baseball is brought to you by CarMax. Start the search for your next car at CarMax. By St. Joseph's Hoag Health, providing more access to doctors, locations, and peace of mind. Welcome to more. And by the Fiat 500 1957 edition. Return of the original. Visit FiatUSA.com to learn more. Welcome back out to Angel Stadium. The Halos kicking off the last homestand of the season. The Houston Astros in town for this weekend series. The Angels come into this one with a 91-55 record and trying to keep their winning ways alive. An 8-game winning streak for the Angels. It is a season high for them, and they have played fairly well against the Houston Astros this year. A 10-6 record, but we mentioned at the start of the last road trip, losing the first two before starting the winning streak in Minneapolis.
Yeah, they're a dangerous club. They've been pitching exceptionally well, too, and they have some guys in the lineup, especially Jose Altuve, who's having an MVP-type season.
The other thing, too, is they have nothing to lose, and they've got a lot of youngsters, too, who have a lot to prove to Tom Lawless, who is the interim skipper. And the Houston Astros have won 4 consecutive series. There's Tom, and here's a lineup that he'll present for tonight's ball game. Game number 147 for Houston at 65-81. Robbie Grossman will lead things off. He's in left field. Jose Altuve, he is having a fantastic season at second base. Dexter Fowler, switch hitting center fielder. Chris Carter is the C.J. Wilson / Angel killer. He's in the cleanup spot. He's the DH. Jason Castro, the catch. Jake Marisnick in right field. Matt Dominguez at third. John Singleton, the Long Beach product, is at first base. And Jonathan Villar, switch hitting shortstop, will bat ninth for the Astros. Taking on C.J. Wilson, 11-9 on the season, a 4.64 ERA.
Yeah, the big thing for C.J. is to make sure he goes out and attacks the strike zone. 157 innings pitched, 155 it's allowed, but 72 walks. That's the thing for C.J. Wilson. To be successful against the Astros, consistent strikes. That has been an issue, especially against the Astros, and let hitters get themselves out. You don't always have to make the perfect pitch. Use that sinker down and away and let them roll over, hit a ground ball, and get some quick outs.
Let's take a look at the defense behind C.J. tonight. Colin Cowgill in left, so Josh Hamilton not in the lineup once again. Mike Trout at center, Cole Calhoun in right. The infield has David Freese, Eric Ibar, Howie Kendrick, and C.J. Cron from third to first. Chris Iannetta back behind the plate.
And Howie Kendrick at second base. Anytime C.J. Wilson is on the mound, you know he's going to get a lot of action there in that position. Has started all but 6 games. Miller in his last 16 starts has turned 76 double plays, which is always a theme when C.J. Wilson is on the mound as far as getting ground ball double plays.
Halos return to a place in which they have played very good baseball this year. A 47-24 record here at Angel Stadium. For them, it is game number 147 as well. Only one off day left on the calendar. That is the last week of the season on that road trip between Oakland and Seattle. Yesterday, the Angels picking up the victory. 7-3 the final. Mike Morin was credited with that victory. That was the Corey Rasmussen and his merry men start. Morin did a terrific job in his inning and a third. Picked up his 4th win and is now 4-3.
Rasmussen threw the ball well also.
Yeah, absolutely. First one tonight is a fastball in for a strike. Ron Kolpa calling the balls and strikes tonight. Lance Barrett at first. Dana DeMuth at second, and Tom Woodring at third base. Grossman at .220 average, 6 home runs and 33 RBIs. Bounces this one toward the middle. Ibar to his left, has an off-balance throw, and they got him. Nice play by Eric to start off the ball game.
Boy, very good range by Ibar to make an outstanding play. Looked like that baseball initially off the bat had a chance of getting up the middle, but the quick transfer and throw gets Grossman at first base.
It's not an overly patient team, this Houston Astros ball club, and with C.J. Wilson, especially over his last 3 starts against the Astros, he's put the Astros in very good hitters counts, pitching from behind and throwing a lot of deep counts, and that's why the Astros have taken advantage of him.
Yeah, 10 in the third innings pitched in 3 starts, the last 3 starts against Houston, 16 earned runs.
Here's Jose Altuve, league's leading hitter. He rockets one into the dugout, and that woke up Mike Scioscia. Right by him. Altuve leading the American League with a .336 batting average. 200 hits this year. 210 is the Houston Astros team record for hits in a season. Craig Biggio. That one's inside. And it evens up the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. This Astros team is a ball club, has hit .241. That's 15th, last in the American League. 10th in runs scored, as that was just off the plate for ball 2. 14th in on-base percentage, 9th in slugging. But it's all said and done, they have a lot of young players, and as we mentioned, they continue to play good baseball here of late. 4 consecutive series wins. You would think that they would relish that role of spoilers. Altuve picks up his 201st hit of the season, and he is on board.
Yeah, teams that aren't in the race at this point are the most difficult ones to play. They're relaxed to play. They generally will not swing at pitches out of the zone. They're going to make those good plays behind you. Got some pitchers getting an opportunity to go to the mound for the manager and throw strikes. Very difficult.
Tom Lawless taking over when Bo Porter was relieved of his duties. Lawless was in the minor leagues, but part of the franchise for the last 6 seasons.
Got to keep an eye on Altuve with 52 stolen bases.
Dexter Fowler at the plate. The center fielder looks at a strike. Switch hitter hitting .268 this year, has 8 home runs and 31 runs batted in. Better hitter from the right side this year than he is from the left. .323 from this side compared to .249. Short lead for Altuve, and that one's downstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And Fowler 3 for 5 in his career versus Wilson.
CJ did stick around to pick up the victory in his last start. That was at Minnesota. It was not pretty to start, but ended up going 6 1/3. Allowed 3 runs on 4 hits, struck out 6, and walked 4 in 115 pitches. This fella a little bit late on that fastball, has it at 1-2 now. That was the game that the Angels ended up pouring it on the Twins. 14 runs, 19 hits.
Boy, when you see a late swing like that, you got to go back upstairs with another fastball.
Fifth start of the year for CJ against Houston. His second here at home. The other was on July the 4th. The dirt. Altuve will advance to second. That ball in the dirt. A wild pitch puts a man in scoring position.
In a 9th wild pitch this year for Wilson. Again, when you see a hitter swinging at a high fastball like that, you try to go back upstairs a little higher. Said there was slider in the dirt. And Iannetta did a good job as far as getting in front of the baseball, but the good read by Altuve. As soon as he saw that baseball fall out of the glove of Iannetta, he advances in the scoring position.
2-2 on Fowler. And that one's down low. A full count. Chris Carter on deck. Just underway. A ground out to start off the ball game off the bat of Grossman. Altuve with his 201st hit. That was out to right. A wild pitch putting him in a scoring position.
Boy, a lot of time in between pitches.
Fowler taps it foul at the plate. 92-mile-per-hour fastball.
Yeah, Wilson with a couple 92-mile-an-hour fastballs in his first inning. Has been settling in around 90-91. His changeup has been very good.
Now the payoff pitch. Another foul ball. Folks still filing into Angel Stadium here on this Friday night. A warm and muggy night. Temperature is supposed to rise all weekend long and into next week. It's like we never left Texas.
Highly unusual for this time of the year here.
Glance back to Altuve. And Fowler shoots one out to right, a base hit. Cole comes up with it cleanly. Altuve will be stopped to third base. So first and third with 1 out. And here comes Chris Carter.
Well played by Cole Calhoun. Keeping Altuve from scoring. High fastball right down the heart of the plate. But hit too hard to send Altuve. CJ's been very good as far as getting a ground ball double play. Can still get through this inning We're not giving up a run if you get a double play ball here.
Carter, the DH, hitting .237, 36 home runs, 85 runs batted in. Home runs, second in the American League. As Fowler takes off and has a stolen base. Now they're going to walk Carter here to face Castro. Carter, a .375 hitter with 2 home runs, 5 RBIs in his career against Wilson.
And I think that's the product of that decision early on for Mike Scioscia. Generally, you don't see that happening in the first inning. Go with the lefty versus lefty.
Castro in his career 2 for 9. He's the catcher.
And he has rolled into 11 double plays.
So the bases loaded for Houston here at the top of the first. 18 pitches already thrown by CJ. And here comes Castro. Left-hand hitting catcher, hitting .230, 14 home runs, 54 runs batted in. Dino Abel, the Angels bench coach, just signaling out to the defensive side of things.
One thing we know about Castro, he's very aggressive on the first pitch. So if you're CJ, you keep that ball down. That's when you can get that ground ball double play. Because he's looking to drive something in the air at this point.
He swings through the first one. 0-1. Castro, 145 batting average this year with the bases loaded. Houston as a team, however, a .312 team batting average with the bases loaded. Altuve standing at third, Fowler at second, and Chris Carter at first. 0-1. 0-2.
Going now a chance to expand the strike zone ahead of the count.
Would you mess around with expanding the strike zone, or would you go right back up there with a fastball?
He's shown that he swung at both of those. You might as well go back upstairs. I mean, you can get him to swing and miss at a slider, but you always worry about that slider in the dirt. But a fastball up should get a swing and miss.
0-2. Went up and in.
That's still the right decision by CJ to go upstairs with a fastball. You could even do it again.
Yeah, because in the hitter's mind, you're thinking, all right, 3 straight fastballs. Now he's going to try to go break the ball away. Jake Marisnick, the right fielder's on deck. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Down goes Castro. 2 down. First strikeout for Wilson.
So far the strategy works, but you still have a tough out here coming up. A good fastball, like we said, stay upstairs. You got to remember that the rest of the game against Castro if you're CJ. No need to waste breaking balls if he's going to swing at a high fastball like that.
Marisnick acquired from the Miami Marlins in the Jared Kozart deal. It's at .237 with Houston with a home run and 9 runs batted in. 36th game. Just remember the Astros, the first one a little bit high, and it's 1 ball, no strikes. 2 singles, an intentional walk to load them up. One 0 pitch. 2-0 now.
Only very dangerous pitch now for CJ. Marisnick in a very good fastball count. You more likely have to throw a fastball. Have to throw a strike.
Couple of glances back to Fowler. That one's on the corner. 2-1.
And that one at 93. Good velocity so far for CJ Wilson. It's warm weather today. That shoulder is loose.
Two 1. off the plate. 3 balls and a strike. And Matt Dominguez on deck. Pitch count wise, not what you wanted to see to start the ball game, considering we had the bullpen game last night. Plenty of guys available, however, including Joe Thatcher, who was activated off the 15-day disabled list prior to the game. 3-1s bounce foul, so a full count, and now we'll get the merry-go-round going as the runners will take off with the pitch.
Big pitch for CJ right now to build some confidence. He's had a tough time against the Astros his last 3 starts. Gets through this inning, build on that confidence.
Full count with 2 outs, no place to put them. Runners take off. Payoff pitch, little emergency hack. Chris Iannetta stumbles on the ball, can't get the out. 1-0 Houston. Called off CJ. The ball kind of checked up on him. It looked like Chris maybe stumbled with his feet there, and once he did that, it was not going to get Marisnik.
Very tough play as a catcher, trying to get out of that catching position and make the call, but then that baseball stayed low on him and checked up on the grass. Off the dirt, and then it checked up, stayed low, anticipated a little bit higher of a bounce. Trying to use the glove and then the quick on the transfer. Tough play for Chris Iannetta.
Imagine they'll call that a base hit, but we'll see how they rule it. 1-0. Here's Dominguez, and he takes low. So Fowler to third, Carter to second, and Marisnik over at first base. Single and an RBI for Marisnik. 10th of the season. This one lifted down the right field line. Long run for Cole Calhoun. Crosses into foul territory, makes the catch. And CJ, I guess you could say, limits the damage. Houston strikes for a run. We'll head to the bottom of the first with the Astros leading it. Houston. We'll take a look at Mike Scioscia starting 9 for the Angels as Cole Calhoun will lead things off in right field. Mike Trout is in center. Albert Pujols will serve as a DH once again. Howie Kendrick is the cleanup hitter with no Josh Hamilton in the lineup. David Freese at third. Eric Ibar short. Chris Iannetta behind the plate. TJ Crone been dealing with a sore wrist. Gets to start today at first base. And Colin Cowgill will bat ninth and play left field as they take on the 25-year-old left-hander native of Christiana, Delaware. His name is Brett Oberholzer.
Oberholzer fastballs 87-93. Curveball, very good changeup. Occasional cut fastball. 5-10 this season. Pretty solid ERA. Not a lot of run support for Oberholzer. But the keys to be successful against him: hit that changeup the other way. Don't try to pull the changeup, and don't miss mistakes, especially when he hangs a break ball in the inner half against you.
Calhoun takes down and away. Cole yesterday had a 1-for-4 game, had an RBI single. Hitting .283, 16 home runs, 54 runs batted in. A stretch in which he homered in 3 straight games. First time in his career that he had done that. Oberholzer paints on the outside corner. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. 149 hits allowed by Brett Oberholzer in 121 1/3 innings. 82 strikeouts and 26 walks. He's been up and down a little bit this year. The big club, AAA. 1-2. The Angels are somewhat familiar with him. 3 starts against the Halos. And he's 1-2 with a 5.89 ERA so far in those 3 starts.
0-1 this year with an ERA over 7.
1-2 offering. Upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Seattle has struck for a run in the bottom of the first at safe go. And it's 1-0 M's still batting. A 3-game series between Seattle and the Oakland Athletics.
Detroit already won their game today.
Yeah, and Kansas City's losing to Boston 4-2 at the top of the 8th. Seattle a game and a half back of the A's as Cole strikes out swinging, and there's the first out of the bottom of the first. Defensively for the Houston Astros, Grossman, Fowler, and Marisnick in the outfield from left to right. Dominguez, Villar, Altuve, and Singleton from third to first in the infield. Castro behind the plate.
And Fowler can really get a baseball. He plays a shallow, extremely shallow center field, but goes back on the baseball very well. His 100th start in center field this season, has committed 5 errors, does have 4 outfield assists, but extremely shallow in center to start with. Goes back on the baseball very well.
First one to Trout. He's on the outside corner for a strike. Like hitting .285, 32 home runs and 103 runs batted in. Had an 0-for-3 game last night, but was plunked twice. Hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning, also in the 5th. 1 ball, 1 strike. Outfield shallow with Trout at the plate, specifically Fowler in center and Marisnick at right. And at right, he's very shallow. One on the corner. 1-2.
Mike Trout right now over the last few games, at least a lot of fastballs inside, whether it's a right-handed pitcher or tonight a left-handed pitcher against him. But the danger part of that is if you're a pitcher, if you make a mistake on that inner half, it could be crushed.
Oberholzer's 1-2. That is a little bit high. Oberholzer's last start was at Oakland. Picked up the win, allowing 3 runs, 7 hits, 6 1/3 through 102 pitches. Castro going back outside. 2-2. This one's fouled back to the right.
That's a pretty good swing on the fastball away, especially considering 3 of the 5 pitches in this sequence against Trout have been inside. It was on that pitch. Short swing, fouled it straight back.
Trout 4 for 8 in his career against Oberholzer.
It's trying to do too much with your changeup. Muscled up on that pitch and right in the dirt.
Pujols on deck. Payoff pitch, check swing, went around. Lance Barrett rings him up. 2 down. Back-to-back strikeouts for Oberholzer.
Went upstairs with a fastball and crossed the plate. Trout pointing down to Lance Barrett. So bringing him up, just barely crossed the plate, but did so.
Albert takes an off-speed pitch for a strike. Rough night last night for Albert. 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. This is chopper to the left side. Matt Dominguez has it on 2 outs. Angels go down quietly and in order here in the first. We'll head to the second with Houston on top.
C.J. Wilson sometimes just tries to think too much. His stuff, you can see by tonight, 92-93. But according to Fangraphs.com, I was done on August 27th of the season. He says, when I throw a really good game, I feel like I pulled off a master heist. I've stolen their ability to win that day with a well thought out, totally under control, non-emotional, logical plan. When you're throwing 92-93 from the left side, I'm just throwing that pitch every time.
Unfortunately for CJ, really good games haven't happened all that frequently this year. He was pretty good early on, but has not been able to put it all together for an extended stretch. Limited the damage in the first inning to 1 run. Left the bases loaded, facing John Singleton, the first baseman. As the count evened up on him at 1 ball, 1 strike.
I mean, he hides the baseball well. He's thrown 92-93. He's got a very good changeup, a very good curveball, which we both think he's going away too much from, and a solid slider, any cut fastball.
2 balls, 1 strike. Wilson threw 30 pitches in the first inning, 16 for strikes. And that's probably been the biggest downfall, if you will, for CJ. Is the strike to ball ratio for him is just about even. I mean, there's usually want that to be a much better pace. Strikes to balls, just like you want strikeouts to walks to be 2 to 1.
Yeah, he's at 59% strike to ball ratio, which is at this part of the season, it's just at the bottom. And right now he's throwing 34 pitches, 18 strikes, 16 out of the strike zone. Granted, 4 of them was an intentional walk, but his stuff is too good to do that.
Full count on Singleton, hitting 179, 13 home runs and 44 runs batted in. 8-9-1 for the Astros here in the second. And issues a leadoff walk. Tonight's broadcast is on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces serving in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea. They're watching around the world in Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, and Japan. We thank you for your service and we welcome you to tonight's broadcast. So a leadoff man to John Singleton, the 8th place hitter. The 9th place hitter, Jonathan VR, will step in. 206 average, 6 home runs, and 24 runs batted in for the switch hitter. It's better from the right side, 244 compared to 186. Baltimore swept the doubleheader from the Yankees today. 2-1 and a walk-off in game 1. 5-0 shutout in game 2. So Baltimore continues to play good baseball as VR takes low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Orioles now at 88 and 59 on the season. The start of the day, the Orioles 4.5 back of the Angels for best record in the American League. 1-1. VR swinging a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
They chased that pitch out of the strike zone. They are very aggressive at the plate.
Singleton over at first with a walk. It's downstairs. 2-2. Just got a piece of it. Go back to that fastball. Good running action. So it's still a 2-2.
I really like the velocity behind his pitches tonight. He said he's been settling around 90-91, but 92-93. Especially with some movement on it. Start middle part of the plate, trust movement, keep it down, and get lots of ground balls.
Full count. Well, back-to-back full counts of the 8th and 9th place hitters now. There's Robbie Grossman, the leadoff man. Would surprise me to see Singleton on the move here. Takes off. A swing and a miss. Potential for a strikeout throw about, but Iannetta fires it into center field.
Very close to contact with VR as he threw the baseball too. Second stolen base of the game for the Astros against Wilson. See right there as VR stumbles across the plate. If you make contact, sometimes at the very least you'll get the base runner to go back to first. On the follow through, very difficult to make a good throw at that point.
And Singleton was kind of jogging between first and second, looking towards home plate. A good throw gets him by plenty. He gets credited with a stolen base, and he's in scoring position. Now Grossman, tired of waiting, backs out. 43 pitches thrown by CJ, 22 strikes, 21 balls. 1-0 Houston. Little infield single with the bases loaded off the bat. Jake Maristic at first. 1-0. Took CJ about 3-4 innings to finally get settled in Minneapolis. At that point, the Angels were swinging the bats well and scoring some runs. As this one's lined into center, a base hit. Singleton will come in to score easily, and it's 2-0 Houston. So leadoff walk to the 8th place hitter comes around to score. Grossman picks up his 34th RBI.
Wayne, the one thing Mike Scioscia wants out of CJ tonight is some length in this game. 8 pitchers used yesterday. Looked like a cut fastball that stayed in enough for the strike zone to be able to go right back up the middle for Grossman. 4 for 12 in his career versus C.J. Wilson. Now dealing with a very good hitter now in Altuve.
1 for 1 with a base hit to right. Scored the Astros' first run. This one's down the line, foul, tailing toward the seats. Altuve signing with Houston as a 16-year-old out of Venezuela. For the longest time, the Astros had the pipeline to Venezuela. They had a bunch of players coming from that country. Yohan Santana, Bobby Abreu, just to name a few. That one's ripped foul. Richard Hidalgo.
Well, you can hit a ball a long way. Wow.
Signed as a 16-year-old, come up through the system, and he's been dynamite. Little spark plug, good contact hitter, has some power in his bat as well.
Reads pitchers very well as far as trying to steal bases also.
1-2 downstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two nothing Houston here in the second. This one's flared out to shallow right. Calhoun coming in, dives, and he traps it. Nice effort by Cole, but Altuve picks up his second hit.
Well, he always puts the baseball in play. Good effort by Cole Calhoun. Almost made a diving play on that one. Smart decision. He turned the glove that way, knowing at that point you're not going to be able to catch it, but you can at least knock that baseball down, because if it gets by him, it's going to be at least a triple.
Second inning with 50 pitches thrown, and there's a couple of guys starting to walk around and get loose in the Angels bullpen.
30 pitches in the first, 20 here in the second.
Dexter Fowler single to center and stole a base in the first. He's 1 for 1 as he fouls that one back. No action as of yet. But as we saw in that start in Minneapolis, Mike Bourne started to warm up in the second inning. They had action in the fourth inning as well, with CJ on the mound before he finally settled in. And quite honestly, I don't blame Mike Scioscia. You don't want to dig yourself a hole that you can't get out of. Give the Astros any more confidence. They want a pickoff attempt, but CJ a little bit tardy and spinning around. Daylight play.
And since August 30th, this Astro club 8-2.
Two on, 1 out. Fowler hits one out toward right. Playable for Cole. Grossman back to the bag. Looks like he wants to tag. The throw's coming to third, but it's cut off. Just a little bit offline. Grossman got a good job and good read from second. 2 down. Hey folks, on Sunday the Halos will honor their youngest fans when the Angels take on the Astros at 12:35. Kids in attendance will have the chance to win great prizes like Disneyland passes and autographed items and more. Purchase your tickets today at the Angel Stadium ticket office or log on at angels.com. So first and third, 2 outs, and here's Chris Carter. And a smart heads-up play by Jose Altuve to not go to second.
I was just going to say that, because Mike Scioscia would have definitely walked Chris Carter with an open base. You still have an open base if you're C.J. Wilson. You don't have to give in to Chris Carter. Make him swing at your pitch out of the strike zone.
Carter looks at a strike, potentially walked the first. Nice dig by Chris Iannetta. Evens up the count at 1-1.
That's not an easy play to block, a hard fastball in the dirt.
Carter swinging a miss, 1-2. And these long innings certainly don't help the offensive side of things. Guys having to stand out there and just waiting around, especially with a lot of pitches being thrown.
Especially with the momentum they've had on this win streak on the road. That's a good changeup. CJ hasn't thrown many changeups yet. You want to expand the zone, go down and away off speed against Carter.
Almost got him to chase. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, just stay away from down and in.
Yeah, anything on the inner half against Carter. He's even strong enough to fight that fastball in off the plate around belt high. Down and in, that's his zone where he drives the ball well.
Carter, the 6th man to bat in the 2nd. Full count. Altuve will get a head start from first. Swing and a miss. Down goes Carter. And the 2nd inning is in the books. 28 pitches for Wilson in the 2nd. The Angels down 2-0.
Junior sports update. Talk a little bit about that big battle up in Seattle between Oakland and the Mariners, and also some decent news out of Miami for Stanton. Tough thing to see last night. Giancarlo Stanton, what happened to him.
Kendrick frees an eye bar here in the 2nd inning for the Angels. Overholzer sat the Angels down in order in the 1st inning with a couple of strikeouts and a ground out. Howie shoots one foul down the right field line and out of play. Kendrick last night 1 for 4, now with an 8-game hitting streak. .290 batting average, 7 home runs, 67 RBIs. Oberholzer needed 14 pitches to retire the first 3 in the Angels order in the first. Down and in.
One thing, though, on the positive side, though, the Astros had many opportunities to score more runs. They haven't. The way the Angels have been swinging the bats, feel quite comfortable, even though you're behind 2-0 here early in the game.
One down as Oberholzer picks up his 3rd strikeout.
My Hyundai key to this game tonight. A little LA Guns, a little 80s fan, 90s. Never enough. Especially the way, as mentioned, the way the Astros have had some solid approaches against C.J. Wilson so far. Never enough runs here to be able to come through at some point against Oberholzer as far as driving the ball and scoring some runs.
Yeah, he's not an overpowering guy. And while he may pitch on occasion inside, he lives away both with the fastball and the off-speed stuff.
Yeah, if you have that approach, especially with Freeze, the way he swings the bat, this should be a perfect matchup for him.
1 ball, 1 strike. David hitting .260 with 7 home runs and 47 runs batted in. 1-for-3 game yesterday. Had a 2 RBI single in the 3rd inning. That is hit out toward left field. Moving over to his right is Grossman, and he'll track it down on the warning track. Route number 2.
Trying to hook it down that line. Freeze this year against the Astros, a 375 hitter with 11 RBI. Just missed that one.
So 2 outs, nobody on, 5 up and 5 down against Brett Oberholzer. And here's Eric Ibar, 285 with 7 home runs and 66 runs batted in. Eric was 10 for 37 on the road trip. Out towards center, playable for Fowler. Off the end of the bat. Another 1-2-3 inning. 2 in the books. Astros lead at 2-0. We'll bring you the AT&T fan photo of the game, but we need your help. Tweet us your photo using hashtag WestFanPhoto. It could be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Castro, Marisnik, and Dominguez. The Astros here in the 3rd inning. Having fun on a Friday night here at the Big A. Last homestand of the season. 3 against the Astros, 4 against Seattle beginning on Monday. and then 3 against the Texas Rangers.
And 58 pitches thrown for CJ. He needs a quick inning. 27 out of the strike zone. 59% strikes this season, which is the lowest percentage in the majors as far as a starting pitcher.
Jason Castro struck out in the first inning. Looks at a first pitch strike.
So far to hit 53% before that strike there for CJ. And what we've seen from CJ, he gets refocused, gets back on a roll, put up some quick zeros and give his offense a chance to come back.
Operative word there, quick.
He can get locked back in very quickly.
There's a called strike 3 on 3 pitches, 1 out.
Just like that.
Castro didn't like the call and lets Ron Copel know about it.
Well, all 3 of those pitches that CJ threw were in the strike zone.
I'm not sure what Castro's complaining about. Pretty good pitch, not even borderline. You want borderline? Go back and either listen to Madonna or watch Doug Eddings games when he's behind the plate. Especially last night, he was all over the place. Marisnick 1 for 1 with an RBI single that put Houston up 1-0. There was a little dribbler out in front of the plate. Old chopper that checked up. Chris Iannetta unable to handle it. And that came with the bases loaded on a 3-2 count. So once that ball dropped and Chris fell, no play whatsoever.
He's been struggling of late. And when you put him in a good count to hit, even a hitter that's struggling has a better opportunity to square up a baseball.
I mean, even going back to that base hit, that pitch that CJ made, I mean, he looked like he was swinging in a telephone booth as this one's lined to left. And there's, to your point, a 2-1 count and a fastball that splits the heart of the plate.
Yeah, when you're struggling at the plate and then all of a sudden you look up, you're behind the count 0-1, 0-2, 1-2, then you're really in a position where you're going to expand the strike zone against you. But then if you're ahead of the count like he was here, he's able to wait and get this a cut fastball that stayed over the middle of the plate, stayed back on it well. Now 2 for 2 in the game.
Dominguez swinging through the first pitch fastball. Dominguez a fly ball to right to end the first inning, so he's 0 for 1.
And Matt Dominguez is a guy with good power to hit to right center field, likes to get his arms extended and likes pitches that are elevated.
Lifted to right. Cole moving over to his left. 2 down.
It's 2 fly ball outs to right field for Dominguez tonight.
All right, folks, make your plans to be part of the postseason action at the Big A. Angels Divisional Series tickets go on sale Thursday at 10 a.m. For more information to purchase tickets, visit angels.com.
Pretty exciting times right now.
So 2 outs and a man on. Still work to be done as the Angels' magic number is 7 to clinch the division. Marisnick takes off to throw down to second. One hopper and a quick tag, but safe. A call by Dana DeMuth.
It's the 3rd stolen base tonight for the Astros. And a pretty good jump. Straight steal. Head first slide. I'm going to try to be quick on the tag. See at this angle if he was able to apply the tag. Hand on the base at that point. He kept it on the base and then the foot.
Singleton hits one high and deep toward right center field. Cole Calhoun moving back and stepping out on the track will make the catch to end the inning. A scoreless top of the third. We'll head to the bottom of the third. Angels down 2-0.
The Angels, the season 36-24 versus the AL West. Last year, 32-44, including picking up the pace against the Rangers and the Astros. They're better against the A's so far. Seattle, different story, got a number of games left, 7 as a matter of fact. With Seattle to change that record by the end of the year, but solid for Mike Scioscia's club within the division.
Seattle currently leading Oakland 2-0, or pardon me, 2-1. Heading to the bottom of the third inning at Safeco. Angels still looking for the first base runner. 6 up, 6 down for Brett Oberholzer. As Chris Iannetta looks at a strike, and again Oberholzer just staying away.
Got to use that middle part of the field the other way against him. Force him to throw some pitches on the inner half.
Iannetta hitting .258 on the season. 7 home runs, 43 runs batted in. Did not get to start last night. Hank was behind the plate. Chris hit on that left hand twice last several games. Back out there tonight. One and two. Two balls, 2 strikes. C.J. Cron on deck. After that, it'll be Colin Cowgill.
Yeah, I was talking to Chris Iannetta today where those pitches got him on the hand. One was on the top of the hand, and the other toward the pinky area. So twice he was hitting that same hand, but at different spots.
This one pulled toward the shortstop area. Throws out Iannetta for the first out.
Yar has a strong throwing arm. And trying to pull Oberholzer, you got to think in terms of that middle of the field. Villar gathered himself. He has an extremely strong throwing arm. 2 of the best throwing arms in the game in the shortstop position. Villar and Ibar here tonight.
Talking about trying to pull Oberholzer. I can't imagine, considering the way the Angels have swung the bat on this 8-game winning streak. That Oberholzer or anybody that of his ilk, not an overpowering guy, is going to mess around with this lineup, trying to sneak something in on the inside part of the plate. The way that these guys have swung the bat of late. Off the end of the bat out toward left center. Again, trying to pull that outside pitch. 2 down.
Yeah, getting those arms out and kind of rolling over with the wrists. Yeah, we showed a lot of highlights in this past road trip in which the club 1 through 9, the batting order, hit a lot of pitches up the middle and the other way. You're going to have to do that against Oberholzer. because he's going to start throwing pitches even further off the outside corner and forcing you to try to go the other way. And if you don't, you're going to roll over, ground ball to short, or a lazy fly to left.
8 up and 8 down, and here's Colin Cowgill, left fielder tonight. .263 batting average, 5 home runs, 21 runs batted in. Josh Hamilton out of the lineup once again. Colin will look at a strike. Sixth consecutive start for Colin. He's in the hole at 0-2. A ball and 2 strikes, just the 34th pitch thrown by the Astros left-hander. Originally in the Atlanta Braves system. 8th round pick in 2008. Seminole Community College in Florida. Came over to the Astros in the Michael Bourne trade in July of 2011.
That's a pretty good hack. That fastball was on the inner half. Surprising Oberholzer went inside on that fastball, and Cowgill was right on it.
Top of the order, and Cole Calhoun on deck. 2-0 Houston here in the bottom of the third. Two. There's that changeup, and Oberholzer picks up his 4th strikeout as the Angels played 3 innings, down 2-0. Nothing lead. Hey folks, tonight stay tuned after Angels Live post-game show for an all-new episode of Angels Weekly. In this episode, we are taking a look at Albert Pujols and his milestone season. That much more. It's Angels Weekly tonight after Angels Live post-game. Astros here in the 4th have 9-1-2 coming up. Villar, Grossman, and Altuve. 2-0 lead. Solo run in the 1st, solo run in the 2nd. Wilson ended up facing 4 batters in the third. Fewest batters he has faced in any of the 3 innings that he's pitched so far.
Certainly be aware of an attempted bunt by VR here too.
Trying to bunt that one over the fence. That's back leg. He struck out his first time up.
I don't want it to be the first to try to steal to get into scoring position. I'm going to try to get into scoring position with 1 swing.
1 ball, 1 strike. Wilson with 4 strikeouts, 2 walks, 6 hits allowed. 72 pitches here in this 4th inning. 1-2. Outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Got him to chase. 1 down.
Good changeup. VR will be up there hacking, expanding the zone. Changeup well out of the strike zone. Pitch down, swing and miss for Wilson. From 75 pitches, 43 strikes, 32 out of the strike zone. Getting better the last couple of innings for CJ.
Kansas City ended up losing to Boston, and with the Tigers winning, Tigers now lead the Central by a half game. As Grossman fouls it off to the right to even a count at 1-1. Tampa Bay shut out Toronto 1-0. Tampa Bay at the start of the day. Pardon me, Toronto at the start of the day. 3.5 back of the second wild card spot, as was Cleveland. Cleveland lost to the Tigers. Didn't miss by much. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I think I'm right back for that slow curveball to get a swing and miss.
Full count. Kansas City drops to the second wild card spot now with that loss. The Tigers win, and if Seattle wins, Seattle and Kansas City are tied for that second spot. Wild card.
It's going to get real interesting. Real interesting for those wild card spots.
3-2 bounce foul. Grossman a 1-for-2 game. Yeah, it's going to shaping up anyway for a nice couple of weeks.
This is exactly what Bud Selig hoped for. Those real good races in that first and second wild card.
Ground ball towards short. High bar to the backhand. Applies the tag. They're going to take a look at it. He was off the bag, and Grossman saying that Crow did not apply tag. And, Tom Lawless will walk out there to see, kill some time here. Here's the catch. They apply a tag.
No.
Negative.
Nope. They're more likely going to win that one.
I think originally he said they weren't going to challenge it, and now he changed his mind and said they are going to challenge it. This should be overturned.
Yeah, it should be pretty quick. See daylight between the glove and the body.
Eric had some time too. It should be his, if it does get overturned, it'll be his 10th error. Instead of 2 outs and nobody on, it'll be a man on with 1 out.
First went over with Tarek Brock, first base coach. The Astros both right away signaled that there was no contact made between the glove of C.J. Cron and Grossman.
Quick decision here, and the call is overturned. But Tom Lawless there for a second.
Yeah, I
walked
thought he was
away.
Walk away.
Yeah. So it is an error on Ibar, his 10th, 75th for the Angels. Lawless must have just gotten the signs confused there from.
And he's smiling about it.
Yeah.
See
Adam
that too
Everett
often.
is the new bench coach.
You don't see that often from Eric Ibar, a high throw like that.
Here's Altuve, he's 2 for 2. Couple of singles to right.
With this combination, Grossman can run a little bit, 6 stolen bases, and Altuve handles the bat well. Means he may need to see some action on the play. The Astros are already with 3 stolen bases today in this game.
Wilson at 82 pitches here in the 4th. On the corner. .202 hits now in the season for Jose Altuve. This was lifted out to right, playable for Cole. Altuve's previous high hits in a season last year, 177. He's retired for the first time tonight. It's the second out here in the 4th.
Well, he was upset with himself. He felt he had a pitch he could do some damage. Got underneath on his swing, though.
So 2 outs and Grossman over at first. Dexter Fowler at the plate. One ball, no strikes. Runner goes. The throw is not in time. Grossman picks up a stolen base now. And that's his 7th of the season.
4th stolen base of the night. Going on first movement once again. Not exactly what Iannetta wanted on the throw. Again, another stolen base, another man in scoring position for the Astros.
Two balls, no strikes on Fowler. And he rips one down the right field line. That'll get down and go for extra bases. Grossman will easily score Fowler to second. It's an RBI double, and it's 3-0 Houston.
And that stolen base was big. There's 4 stolen bases against the Angels tonight, which ties the season high. 4 stolen bases against also on June 20th versus Texas, a breaking ball. Actually was a cut fastball. He goes the other way, Fowler, and drives in a run, 32nd run for Fowler.
Intentional walk to Carter. Fowler 17th double. The second intentional walk to the DH. And run, an unearned run because of the error by Eric Ibar. It should have been the second out of the inning. Some movement going on in the Angels' pen. It looks like we're going to see some action. Jason Castro's getting ready. There's ball 4.
Catcher number 15.
CJ now at 91 pitches. We're in the 4th inning. Then Pistano getting ready. Now Mike is going to come out and kill some time here to allow Pistano an opportunity to get ready.
This big batter for CJ and the Angels. He's got him twice already. 1 strikes, 1 swinging, 1's looking. 91 pitches thrown. We're only in the 4th inning. 30 in the first, 28 in the second. A solid 3rd inning for CJ, but now 21 pitches. Goes at that extra out. Eric Ibar doesn't make many mistakes, but as a pitcher, that's when you try to pick up your teammates, especially how well Ibar has played this season. Gold Glove caliber shortstop.
Oh for 2 with a couple of strikeouts is Jason Castro. Swinging in the 1st inning, looking, leading off to 3rd. Fowler 2nd, Carter at 1st. Chases the breaking ball. 1 ball and strike. Five strikeouts, 3 walks, 7 hits allowed for C.J. Wilson so far.
Be a very important batter for C.J. Wilson to get out. He's had success against him tonight with a right-handed batter on deck. Vinny Pistano getting ready down in the bullpen. So should make indeed go to the bullpen earlier than he wanted to.
Fouled off to the left. Evens up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Castro lines with the right, Cole in. Slams on the brakes, makes the catch. An unearned run comes across. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th. 3-0 Houston. Orioles on Fox, and on Fox Sports 1, the Padres take on the Diamondbacks. The action starts at 9:30 a.m. Pacific on Fox and continues 4:30 Pacific on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Bottom of the fourth here at Angel Stadium. The Halos have yet to have a base runner reach against Brent Overholser. 9 up and 9 down with 4 strikeouts. So that means Cole Calhoun will lead things off. He'll be followed by Mike Trout and then Albert Pujols for the second time through the order. Lefty has been very good. Command has been solid. He's working quickly. He's thrown strikes. He's gotten some quick outs.
See if the approach can change now. Think in the middle of the field against him this time through.
37 pitches thrown by the lefty. 24 strikes. Cole struck out swinging in the first.
One thing we've seen from this Angel club, once they get on a roll, they can score a lot of runs in an inning. Just got to get that first base runner.
Oh, 2. Overholser's third 0-2 count of the night. One ball, 2 strikes.
It looked like Cole really tracked that one well off the plate. He's not going to go after that. Now he's going to look away. So he can hit a ball to left center field.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Four strikeouts, 2 ground outs, and 3 fly ball outs for the left-hander, Brent Overholser, Delaware native. 2-2.
He seems to be tracking very well this at bat. Chased that exact same pitch his first at bat against him.
Three-2 now. Cole pulls this one past Singleton. It's a base hit to lead off the fourth.
And that's a start. Cole, that's a good at bat. Did not chase. Little pitch elevated. And he's going to throw him a changeup. But this time as an elevated changeup. And Cole, even though the bottom part of the barrel of the bat lined to pass Singleton into the outfield for a base hit.
Trout struck out swinging in the first, so he's 0 for 1. Looks at the strike. Overholser working from the stretch for the first time tonight. 0-2.
I think Mike was guessing something off speed there. That's the pitch he would like to have back. Fastball, lower part of the strike zone. So short and quick through the baseball. That baseball can go a long way if he gets another pitch in that spot.
Oh, 2 now. Upstairs. Oberholzer got to try to expand his strike zone on a 3-2 pitch up. Tried to check his swing, but he went around. Pujols on deck, and they'll check in on Cole. 3 runs, 7 hits, 8 left on for the Astros. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, nobody left on for the Angels. As Calhoun is the Angels' first base runner. The Angels have action in their bullpen. It's Michael Roth. One-two pitch. This one's out toward right center field. Marisnick moving over, not going to get there. Cole on his way to third, and he is going to be waved in. No relay throw. It's an RBI double for Mike Trout, and the Angels get on the board as they trail it 3-1.
Just like we said, starting to use that big part of the field. Mike Trout, short. Threw the baseball the other way. 38 double, 104th RBI. More of a hanging breaking ball, but he got his hands tucked in and inside out approach. Still got the barrel of the bat on it and drives in Calhoun, who has scored now in 8 straight games for Cole Calhoun. Quickly goes around and scores the first of the game, and you can sense it once again, the offense ready to get on the roll.
Well, this crowd tonight has been waiting to get fired up on this Friday night. Finally, something to cheer about here in the 4th inning as Albert steps in with Trout at second. Pujols looks at a strike. Oberholzer got Pujols to chase an off-speed pitch and bounce out to Dominguez at third as he tried to pull that off-speed pitch. Mentioned that 4 strikeout game last night. The first time in his career he has ever had a 4 strikeout game. Going 0 for 5 overall. 0-1.
We're at 77 extra base hits now for Mike Trout. And now we get a little bit too aggressive trying to get that off-speed pitch out in front. The pitch not close. That's one of those pitches as a pitcher, you want him to swing and make contact, because if you hit that ball on the ground, it's going to be to the left side of the infield and not allow Mike Trout to very least advance on an out.
And again, Fowler and Marisnick at center and right respectively playing shallow. Upstairs, 1-2. Calhoun starting it off with a base hit to right. Trout, RBI double to right center field. 104 runs batted in now for Mike. Kendrick on deck. That's the pitch that got Albert to an 0-2 count.
Well, we've seen some good at-bats so far this inning. Cole Calhoun with a solid at-bat. Saw some pitches, tracked them well. Base hit, same thing for Mike Trout. Before going inside out and going the other way.
2-2 now. Albert trying to shoot it to right field. Fouls it off to the right.
Nice job of keeping his hands back, though. Just elevated enough where he's going to pop it up.
Nobody out here in the 4th. Angels down 3-1. Trout standing at second base. 2-2. Foul at the plate. Albert serving as a DH once again. Second consecutive game. 3rd time since Monday. long look in, so Albert backs out. Game in Seattle is in the bottom of the 5th inning. Mariners leading Oakland 3-2. Big series up there as far as wild card implications. Altuve trying to keep track close to the bag at second. 2-2 now. Downstairs. Full count.
Oh, really starting to track the pitch as well. It's a good sign.
Second down through the order now.
Yeah, first 3 innings. Here's where expanding the zone. Getting back late last night. Getting their legs strong now. Second time through.
A spin move and nothing happening at second. Overholter really slowing things down here in this 4th inning. Now the payoff pitch. Albert takes a called strike 3 on a fastball. Got the bottom part of the strike zone. At least according to Ron Culpo, 1 out.
And he's got to be real careful. See if this does indeed get the lower part of the strike zone. Very close borderline pitch. See if it touches the bottom part of the strike zone.
Brent Straub, the pitching coach, out to pay a visit now with Kendrick at the plate.
Now he's 3 for 7 in his career versus Oberholzer with 2 RBI.
Michael Roth ready to go.
As much as he's thrown, you would think he's going to be coming in the game.
Yeah.
Because he's been a starter majority of the season down in Double-A, so should giving him some opportunity to get ready to a lot of pitches before coming into the game.
Howie's 0 for 1. He struck out his first time up. He drills one out towards center field. That ball's hit pretty well. Fowler's tracking it, however. And shy of the track will make the catch. Travel tag and head to third. Ball trickles away. Trout's going to try to come in to score, and he does. A big error by the Astros cost them a run, and the Angels are down by 1.
Well, I like what I saw from Trout there. He ran hard to third, and as soon as that baseball was not scooped by Villar at short, there you start seeing and knowing Trout and his speed and the way he reads the bases so well, able to come in and get a gift run. That's the one thing about the Angels, especially when you have Ibar and Trout and Kendrick going. Always think in terms, if it's a low throw, to be able to go, he tracks it and then picks it up, and then he's able to score himself, as he saw that baseball was in the outfield grass. Another run score for Mike Trout.
16th error of the year for Jonathan Villar. 2 outs, nobody on. David Freese looks at a strike. Freese a fly ball to left his first time up as that pitch misses in.
Mike Trout now with 103 runs scored and 104 RBI.
Two and one. The 3-2 Houston lead.
When it's like talking to Mike Trout every day, he really wants this. He wants an opportunity to get to the postseason. That low throw, VR unable to scoop it, and Trout scores the second run.
I'll be perfectly honest with you, that should be an error on Dexter Fowler. Freese tries to pull that changeup. Dominguez has it, throws to first, and out at first is the call. It's the third out of the inning. The Angels scored 2 runs here in the 4th inning, however, one of which is unearned. 4 in the books. Houston leads at 3-2.
enjoy better. Call 1-855-1TWC. By the 2014 Camry at your Toyota dealer today, we make it easy.
By Heffernan Insurance Brokers. Insurance and financial services for you and your business. Visit HOUAT.com.
And by AT&T U-verse TV, mobilizing your world.
Top of the fifth inning, C.J. Wilson's back out on the mound. Marisnick, Dominguez, and Singleton for Houston. Astros up 3-2. Roth continues to warm up in the pen. Jake Marisnick is 2 for 2 with a couple of singles, an RBI, and a stolen base as he breaks his bat. And this one's over the high bar, 1 down.
This little two-seam fastball from Wilson to get a ground ball out off the end of the bat. Marisnick's done a nice job as far as get himself into good hitters counts, considering how much he has struggled in his last 15 games or so.
Cam Bedrosian has joined Michael Roth in the bullpen, so righty and a lefty for the Angels. Dominguez looks at the strike. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of fly balls to Calhoun. C.J. Wilson 4 1/3, 7 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 3 walks, 2 of which were intentional to Carter, and 5 strikeouts so far. That's a called strike 3, 2 down. And maybe, just maybe, action of the bullpen trying to perhaps fire up C.J. Wilson somehow.
Yeah, we saw that the other day in Minnesota. He's got 101 pitches thrown so far, and it's only the 5th inning, but 8 of those pitches were on 2 intentional walks.
Oh, 2 count. Singleton with a walk and a fly ball to right. One and 2. Didn't miss by much.
That's a great miss, though, by C.J. Just off the corner. Now you have options. You can go right back that same spot or throw a breaking ball on that plane. Just missed. Again, that's a very good pitch.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Lifted foul. Halos in the bottom of the 5th inning of Ibar, Iannetta, and Crone coming up. Oberholzer did settle down to retire the next 3 after the double by Trout. That one's up and in for a full count. 0-2 to 3-2. 9th place hitter Jonathan Villar on deck. More than likely CJ's last innings at 107 pitches. May even be his last batter if he ends up getting on board.
Yeah, you got to think in terms of if you're CJ on the mound, you have to think I have to throw my best pitch of the game, get through this inning, and hope the offense can pick me up in the bottom of the 5th.
This one's pulled to second. Ball had a lot of spin as Singleton got it out the end of the bat. A 1-2-3 inning for Wilson. First time tonight. He's retired the side in order. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th. Halos down by 1. Down by the score of 3-2. C.J. Wilson. A lot of congratulations there. Looks like a 5 and dive here. He's going to be done. A lot of pitches thrown early on. But he finishes strong, retiring the side in order, the 5th.
He has 6 punch outs. 107 pitches though in 5 innings. A lot of pitches thrown. A lot of innings you're going to have to get out of your bullpen once again tonight.
Ibar, Inet, and Crone. The Angels down by 1. Eric's 0 for 1 with a fly ball to center. Bouncer down the line. That is a base hit. Marisnik's playing out in shallow right. Cuts that ball off, so the Angels, for the 2nd consecutive inning, have their leadoff man on.
Boyd stayed back on that baseball. Eric Ibar did. It's a ball right down the first base line.
Chris Iannetta grounded out to short his first time up. Base hit by Ibar, the 3rd hit for the Angels tonight. Just off the plate. Evans up the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. The Angels have Mike Bourne getting ready. Bourne was pitching the 6th inning. It's Eric Bennett, AAA pitching coach for the Angels. Angels not only have extra players up here, extra coaches because of all the extra players. Eric's been up here the last couple of years once the Bees season comes to an end.
Do a lot of batting practice. Last road trip. A lot of extra BP.
Big lead for Ibar. Here's the 1-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Two 1. Off the end of the bat on a changeup.
Mentioned that at the start of the game. That's his go-to pitch. There's about 27% of his pitches are going to be changeups. You can keep your hands back, especially he's elevated a number of those changeups. You can punch that ball in the right field.
Two now. Full count. TJ Crone on deck. Houston with solo runs in the 1st, 2nd, and 4th innings to take a 3-0 lead. The 4th inning run unearned because of the error by Ibar. The Angels struck for 2 in the 4th, one of which was unearned because of the error charged to VR. 3-2. That's a base hit to right. Great piece of hitting. And the Angels have the first 2 on board to start the 5th.
Staying back. Much better approach the last couple of innings. Pitch away. Hands back and looking to hit the ball that way. Kept his head still and thought about that side of the field and connected well for Chris Iannetta. After going through a number of signs just in case C.J. Crone squares around the bunt. Be surprised if he did that, though. Great numbers with runners in scoring position. 381 for C.J. Cron.
Ibar at second, Iannetta at first. Swinging first pitch, got a change up and fouls it back.
When C.J. has to be watching what Eric Ibar and Chris Iannetta have done in this inning alone against Oberholzer, just stinking the other part of the field. Yeah, you can still adjust on the inner half.
Right. And even if that's the case, you got him out in front to fly a ball to left field in the third inning. Even if he does throw you one fastball in that you end up just taking, he's going to go back to the off-speed stuff, you would figure. That's his bread and butter. There's another one. That one's fouled back. A little fastball there. He stayed away. Young man has a lot of power to all fields. Marisnick playing super shallow in right field. Fowler shallow in center. That's a called strike 3 on a pitch.
That's a pretty tough pitch to call.
No doubt.
He goes up and in on a fastball. The other two pitches, middle part of the plate. Let's credit Castro for that good frame on that pitch upstairs. Looked like it was just off the inside corner.
So the runners remain at first and second with one out, and here's Colin Cowgill, a strikeout victim in the third. Halos now 0 for 4 with men in scoring position. Altuve trying to keep Eric close to the bag at second. Cowgill hits one out toward right center field. Long run for both Fowler and Marisnick. It's Marisnick making the catch, and he drops it off the glove. Ibar's going to be waved in. He's going to score. This game is going to be tied up at 3.
Well, taking advantage of mistakes, and that certainly was a mistake. Marisnick playing extremely shallow. He took the eye off the baseball. This is going to be going in his glove. Huge break. And he's calling off Fowler. And just didn't catch the baseball. Didn't close the glove. See the communication, and Fowler went behind him for protection and is unable to make the play.
And Fowler actually took his eye off the baseball as well, just kept running by. Runners advance an extra 90 feet. Ibar was tagging, is able to score. Iannetta ends up at third base, and Cowgill at second. It's an error on Marisnick as second as a member of the Astros. Now the Astros play their infield in.
Well, what we saw this entire road trip, past road trip, every time the opponent made a mistake, the Angels capitalized right away.
Cole Calhoun 1 for 2, a single and a strikeout. He's also scored a run. Down in the dirt, blocked by Castro. A 3-3 game. That is line to center, a base hit. Iannetta will score. Cowgill's being waved in. Here comes a throw from Fowler, and safe at the plate. Halos up top 5-3.
And again, taking advantage of a mistake. Cole Calhoun going up the middle. Much better approach the last couple of innings. Well, he didn't try to do a whole lot with that swing. And he's rewarded with an RBI, 2 RBI single for Cole Calhoun with the infield in.
Tom Lawless is coming out. That is going to be all for Brett Oberholzer. Jorge De Leon is coming into the ball game. We're the 5th. The Angels on top, 5-3. Leon takes over on the mound. 27-year-old made his major league debut on Monday. It's our in and out, who's in, who's out. De Leon takes over for Brett Oberholzer. And De Leon, a good arm. They had a 3.01 ERA, 46 games between AAA and AA this season. 4-5 record. Also had 5 saves. He'll come on with 1 out and Cole Calhoun at first base and Mike Trout coming up.
And De Leon, very good fastball. You mentioned that good arm, 93 to 97. Hard slider, occasional changeup.
Trout 1 for 2 tonight with a strikeout and an RBI double. First one's in for a strike at 96. Oberholzer 4 2/3, 5 hits, 6 strikeouts, no walks. Responsible for Calhoun standing over at first base. 5 runs plated so far, 3 earned. 2 errors for the Astros. That's up and away. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
When you think about how well the Astros pitchers have thrown of late in their last 10 games, in which they're 8-2, their starters are 6-0 with an ERA 1.95 during that stretch.
Oberholzer starting off the game, retiring the first 9 before giving up the base hit to Calhoun, leading off the 4th. Off speed pitch. 1-2. And up in Seattle, Mariners now have themselves a 4-2 lead in the top of the 7th inning against Oakland. One, 2. Upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Never easy when you get into the month of September and you've got all these bodies up here, guys you've never seen before, have no idea. You can only go off of scouting reports. But I guess you could just try to zone in on one location.
Yeah, that's what you got to try to do, just look for a spot.
Especially with a guy throwing as firm as De Leon is. Breaking ball. Pretty sharp breaking ball. Full count.
He's got a good one. He throws quite a few of them. It's a sharp break to it.
Cole over at first, and now Trout asking for time. Wonder if Calhoun takes off here. With one out.
Yeah, he's got to be going here.
Pujols on deck. Halos are 2 of the 4-3 so far here this 5th inning. Does not go, and he lines one out to left center field. That will go all the way to the wall. Calhoun racing to third. DiSarcina will wave him in. Trout keeps on chugging to third, and he has himself an RBI triple. 6-3 Angels.
Wow, how quick the Trout turned on the afterburners on that one. A pitch down at 95, but it's the lower part of the strike zone. Short through the baseball for Trout. And crushed to left center field. And boy, did he turn that on. He was thinking triple all the way through. He's so quick as far as cutting off the angle and the distance when he runs the bases. Now 8 triples, he's got 38 doubles and 32 home runs.
Infield in for Houston with Pujols at the plate. Second RBI of the night for Trout. 105 on the season. Albert 0 for 2. Downstairs. Pujols with a ground down and a strikeout. Went down looking in the 4th. Popped up on the first base side. Singleton and Castro. Watch that one going to the seats. Folks, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Los Angeles Angels and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Angels Baseball LP.
Well, how often we talked about those big innings. Already 4 runs here in the 5th. The Angels with 44 comeback wins already this season, putting himself in that position, make it number 45 here, trying to expand the lead. Cole Calhoun, a solid game once again, scoring 2 more runs.
One ball, 1 strike. De Leon's pitch. This is fouled back. 1-2. A big error by Jake Marisnick. What should have been the 2nd out of the inning. And the Angels with runners at 1st and 3rd ended up bringing home a run and kind of opened things up.
And the good teams take advantage of the opponent's mistakes. We're in this game so far, Mike Trout, those wheels on display.
One, 2. Breaking ball. That's lined to right field. Marisnick is there. He'll make the catch. Trout will easily score. 7-3 Halos. Pujols with a sac fly.
More importantly, getting closer to that century mark as far as driving in runs. 93rd RBI of the season for Albert Pujols. Another real good swing going the other way. Getting the job done. Expanding the lead. 5 runs in this 5th.
Sorry, Mike, those big innings very prevalent on this road trip for the Angels. This is a 5-run 5th inning. You see where Albert stands on the all-time RBI list.
hawk.
Howie 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a fly ball to center. Two balls and no strikes. Two-0 now. Upstairs. 3 balls, no strikes. David Freese on deck. Oberholzer's line, 6 runs, 4 earned, 5 hits, 6 strikeouts, and 4 2/3. What could have been for that left-hander had Villar not made a mistake on an error last inning, and then of course Marisnick's here in the 5th. Angels taking advantage of it and opening it up. This one's line to left, 3-0 fastball turned around, and the inning continues as Freese will come up.
Extremely confident hitters. This Angel club. Don Baylor looking on, watching his hitters. That consistent approach, short and using the whole field.
Freese 0 for 2. Takes an off-speed pitch low. David with a fly ball to left and a ground ball to third. 9th man to bat here in the 5th. Eric Ibar started it off with a base hit between Singleton and the line. Eric is on deck. Kemper takes off. The pitch is a strike. The throw to second is not in time. A stolen base.
This is 14th stolen base, which ties a career high for Howie Kendrick. Done it 3 other times. Quick jump into scoring position. Still way early in the game, trying to get into scoring position to score some more runs. Getting that hand in there.
One ball, one strike on Freese with the man in scoring position. The Angels 4 for 10 so far tonight. Fouled off to the right. Seattle batting now in the 7th, up 4-2. Halo's magic number to clinch the division, 7. Combination of a win and Hayes' loss make that 5. That's out toward right field. Hit pretty well. Marisnick moving back on it. He pulls up. That is gone. Big fly for David Freese. 9-3 Halos.
And the big inning continues. David Freese going the other way. His 8th home run, 49th RBI. Those numbers against the Astros this season, spectacular for David Freese. Well, this is going a long way. That's a hanging slider. So you're creating all that power yourself as a hitter. And out to right center field. Impressive swing. by David Freese. Hyundai key to this game, never enough. Well, 7 runs here in the 5th. 9 total for this club. What when you think about it, you have a 10-day road trip. You get back in late last night. Yet the guys were out hitting early against Joe Thatcher, a little simulated game, and then regular batting practice. This team is relentless in their approach at the plate and the craft of continue to swing the bat well.
Ibar loops one out to shallow center field. That will get down for a base hit. His second hit of the inning. It's the 4th time in the last 6 games in which the Angels have had an inning of 6 or more runs. Tonight, it's a 7-run 5th.
That is a good pitch. And Eric Ibar went down and got that pitch and hit it into center field for a base hit.
And a 1 for 2, singled earlier this inning. Scored one of the 7 runs. Out. Off speed pitch got away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Samuel Deduno, the right hitter, getting ready now for Houston. Mike Moore was ready about a half hour ago.
We've said that a lot this last stretch of games for the Halos, where not only scoring those crooked numbers in an inning, but getting a ton of them in an inning.
Foul, 1 and 2. This is a team that they got it going in Minneapolis. They started to score a lot of runs, and all of a sudden the wind started to pile up. Looks like a shark smelling blood in the water.
You knew at some point the offense was going to get back to those swings ahead in the first half. Pitching staff picked them up, and now the offense is really rolling.
Gets away from Castro, and Ibar gets into scoring position.
Pitch down, change up. Not a pitch is thrown this inning. Castro had to either block or try to catch and frame.
Full count.
In 4 of the last 6 games for the Halos, they've scored 5 or more runs in an inning, and that's how good they've been. And there's been some mistakes by the opponents made in the field, and they've taken advantage of it each and every time.
The Angels have now scored 7 or more runs in 8 straight games. Hadn't been done in Major League Baseball in 11 years. Iannetta pops this one up. Castro going into foul territory, gets rid of the mask and has the ball go in and out of his glove. And the inning continues.
Trying to reach over off the end of the glove, trying to find where that railing netting area, unable to make the play. You see that mark on his arm to try to reach over that netting.
There's ball 4. DeDuno's ready to go, and that's going to be it for the Astros here. They're going to make the move as De Leon is responsible for the 2 guys on base. He's allowed 3 runs. This bottom of the 5th continues. David Freese going the opposite way. 2-run home run. The Angels still batting in the 5th, up 9-3. Top bottom of the 5th with 2 outs. Samuel DeDuno comes into the ball game. The pitch for the Astros, taking over for De Leon, is responsible for the 2 guys on base. Making his Astros debut as a waiver claim on August the 30th. 2-5 with a 4.60 ERA in 30 games this season. Originally got to the big leagues back in 2010 as a member of the Colorado Rockies, and the right-hander will face C.J. Cron, with Ibar standing at second and Iannetta at first.
Truly amazing what this offense has done.
Cron's 0 for 2. Breaking ball for a strike. Off speed. Took a little bit off the fastball anyway.
0-2. He's got a good cut fastball. That had some good action to it.
Oh, 2 on the way. This one's pulled over to third. Dominguez has it. He'll go the short way, and this inning comes to an end. The Angels faithful will give the Halos a terrific round of applause as the Halos hang a 7th spot here in the 5th. Lead at 9-3. On Wednesday, the Halos take on the Mariners at 7:05, and fans in attendance will receive a halfway to St. Patty's Day hat courtesy of the Alzheimer's Association while supplies last. Purchase your tickets today at the Angels Stadium ticket office or by logging on at angels.com. Mike Moore comes into the ball game and places C.J. Wilson, who lasted just 5 innings tonight, through 107 pitches, and he is the pitcher of record through those 5 innings. Moore will be facing 9-1-2 here in the 6th. 54th game, a 4-3 record, a 2.39 ERA through 9 pitches last night. Now we'll take over here. There's a new first baseman, Efrain Navarro, takes over at first for C.J. Cron. No other defensive changes for the Angels. Villar, Grossman, and Altuve for the Stros here in the 6th.
Yeah, Mike Moore has done a very good job out of the bullpen. For Mike Scioscia, very good fastball, spots it well. Low 90s, good slider, but a very, very good changeup. Those are both lefties and righties. His changeup against the lefty will run down and away. He will cut his changeup against a right-handed batter to go away against them.
Villar, the switch hitter, spins around, a hit from the left side. He's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. First one's in for a strike. Wilson, just 5 innings, 7 hits, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks, 2 intentional, 3 runs, 2 earned.
Getting that run support again.
Not fully committed to the swing. And it's 0-2.
Well, that is a good changeup. So difficult as a hitter to stay back and not commit to a swing against that pitch.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Moore pitched twice in the Texas series last night, as well as Tuesday. Swing and a miss, 1 down.
And now it's time for the Cardinals Jr. Sports Update from around the majors. Talked about the A's and the Mariners battle for their playoff lives. Right now, Seattle leading Oakland 4-2 in the top of the 8th. And Stanton heads home. Surgery unlikely, which is a very good news. Giancarlo Stanton got hit in the face with a pitch. Played in every single game this season. That's been an issue for him, trying to stay healthy as far as his legs and staying strong. Tarek Brock, the first base coach for the Astros, has worked with him during the offseason as far as keeping his legs strong, making sure he stayed healthy. And he certainly put up some unbelievable numbers for the Marlins this year. Hopefully he'll get an opportunity to get back and play some games by the end of the year, but very difficult to see that against Stanton last night.
Scary, scary sight. Grossman pops it up left side. David Freese calling for it. 2 outs.
And Tarek Brock at one point was working in the Marlins system before taking the job as the first base coach for the Astros this year.
By the way, the game at Seattle now in the bottom of the 8th inning. Mariners up 4-2. Seattle a game and a half back behind Oakland.
I wear Tarek Brock's son, very good football player on the Chaminade Eagles.
I knew there was a reason you brought him up somehow. Talk about Chaminade somehow.
Had to get it in.
1, 2, 3 shutdown inning for Moore, and we head to the bottom of the 6th. Halos on top.
Montgomery, the offense, once again on a roll. Howie, fly ball into center field, but Mike Trout tags up and then eventually scores in that low throw in the shortstop VR, showing his wheels. Cowgill, fly ball, Maristic unable to make the play, and as usual, the Angels will take advantage of that. Cole Calhoun with the infield in, base hit up the middle, scoring 2. And then David Freese going the other way, a 2-run shot to right field, a 7-run 5th inning for the Halos. They lead this one 9-3.
Halos here in the bottom of the 6th inning have 9-1-2 coming up. Houston has Duno on the mound, and a new second baseman, Marwin Gonzalez, takes over for Jose Altuve. Shortstop by Trigg. Nice inning there by Mike Bourne, by the way. Quick 1-2-3 inning. Now Altuve, by the way, finishes 2 for 4 on the night. 202. Collin takes outside. That's 1 ball, 1 strike. Cowgill is 0 for 2. He's the man that reached on the error by Jake Marisnick to help open things up for the Angels in the 5th inning. Chopper toward third. Vegas has it. 1 down. Top of the order now, Cole Calhoun coming up. Cole 2 for 3. 2 runs batted in, 2 runs scored. 56 RBIs on the season. Takes down and away. 3 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors. 8 left on for Houston. 9 runs, 9 hits, 1 error. 2 left on for the Angels. An Astros team, even though they scored solo runs in the 1st and 2nd innings, stranded 5 base runners in those 2 innings. Wilson teetering on the edge in those 2 frames. Solid 3rd inning. Unearned run in the 4th inning, and then had a 1-2-3 5th. In a nutshell, an uneven performance, but in line for his 12th pitch.
On the right day, it's always important. He's done that a lot this season.
Ground ball toward the middle. Gonzalez deep to his right, got it, but unable to throw out Cole. He picks up his 3rd hit of the night. John, a multi-hit game for himself. 2 extra base hits, a double and a triple, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. Club record 88 extra base hits. Garrett Anderson, proud holder of that record.
Yeah, Garrett was a doubles machine.
Tapper foul on the breaking ball. Snowball is at 2 strikes.
Boy, how effective is Cole Calhoun been in that leadoff spot? He's scored a run in 8 straight games. He's got a hit in all 8 of those games and has driven in 8 runs during that stretch. That's getting it done. That leadoff position.
Got the Vladdy Guerrero starter kit going on the helmet.
Yeah, he does.
That is line to center field. Fowler comes in and makes the catch. One down. Pardon me, two down. Now Gill led off the inning with an out.
Still hit well by Mike Trout. Got his hands inside the baseball. That fastball ran inside at 91. First pitch, a backup slider and a slow curveball. Then DeNuno throws a fastball in. Got his hands inside the baseball, hit it well, but Fowler able to track it down. A lot of positives out of the swings tonight. Once again for Mike Trout. And some tremendous base running too.
Albert had a sac fly in the 5th inning, picking up his 93rd run batted in. Watch out, where that got into the seats in a hurry. It looks like, fortunately, it didn't hit anybody. Ricocheting off the seats. Evens up the count at 1-1. There's no action in the Angels bullpen, and with Morin's quick 6th inning, you wonder if he goes back out for a second.
He was quick last night and getting some outs.
One-two, off speed, checked his swing. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ten hits tonight for the Angels.
Well, the 8th straight game with 7 or more runs ties the franchise record set in 1979. That's the year where Don Baylor won the MVP of the American League. We're in that Angel uniform.
Albert pulls one down the line, foul. Cole back to first. The breaking ball, that one fouled straight back.
Albert stayed back on that one very well.
They're heading to the 9th in Seattle. The Mariners leading the A's 4-2. Here it's 9-3 Angels, bottom of the 6th. And now a balk has been called, so Cole will advance to second. It's back-to-back nights. The opposition has committed a balk against the Angels. dirt. Nice dig by Castro on the breaking ball. Full count now. Daduna really takes his time out of the mound. First appearance since being claimed off waivers from Minnesota. And now the payoff. He walked it. So 2 on 2 outs. Kendrick coming up. Now he's at a 1-for-3 game. Single, stole the base and scored a run in the 5th.
He likes hitting this number 4 spot in the lineup. He's done a fantastic job doing it.
Another breaking ball, and it's 1 ball, no strikes. And now they're going to talk things over here. Calhoun with a huge lead at second. Pujols a trail runner at first. 1-0 to Howie. Takes a strike on a fastball. Howie now the team leader as far as batting average is concerned. 290. Breaking ball, that is in there for a strike. 1-2.
'67 RBI for Howie. What the middle infielders have done for the Angels this year with Howie Kendrick and Eric Ibar. Batting in, run producing positions in the lineup also have been very, very good.
Base hit that Howie picked up in the 5th inning extends his hitting streak to 9 games. 2-2. Full count. We're just in the 6th inning. 3-2 count with 2 outs. Base runners will take off here. And Howie drives one out to center. Fowler's got his back to the infield. Pulls off. That is off the wall. Cole will come in to score. Pujols on the way to the plate. He will score. Make it 11-3 Angels.
And now 69 RBI for Howie Kendrick. Just another run score for Cole Calhoun. One of those spinning breaking balls down the heart of the plate. And that's just a perfect swing for Howie. Dead center field. One hop in the wall. Be a pinch runner now for Howie. Drives in 2. The rest of the night off. What a job by Howie.
Greg Green takes over as the pitch runner.
447 batting average in the month of September for Howie Kendrick. And he picked up his career-tying 14th stolen base tonight.
The 11-3 Angels here in the 6th. Here's David Freese. 1 for 3 homer his last time up. 0-1. Let's go back to that home run in the 5th.
And keep in mind, this is a breaking ball, slider that's upstairs, so you're creating all that power yourself. And David Freese, very good as far as hitting the ball well the other way. 2-run home run. And his batting average up to 260.
The Angels have scored 81 runs in their last 9 games. And counting.
A lot of game left.
Breaking pitch, bounce toward third, and it just goes foul. 0-2 count on Freese. Home run for Freese, his 8th of the year, now with 49 runs batted in. Be the 30th pitch thrown by Deduno. Tap it foul. Green over at second base. And David goes down swinging to end the 6th inning with the Halos tack on 2 more. The 2 RBI double by Kendrick. It's 11-3 Angels. Makers had a fantastic season last month. The American League pitcher and rookie of the month. And tonight he was handed that award with John Carpenter, the team president, and he was sporting the beard, and so were some of his teammates.
That's how impressive Matt Shoemaker, his respect he gets from his teammates. The rookie getting this type of love from his teammates. So impressive to Matt Shoemaker and the respect he gets from the guys wearing that Angel uniform.
15-game winner, and an opportunity to extend that. A couple of more starts.
Hey, their hockey beards going, playoff beards working too.
Yeah. They start growing one? I guess that's a no.
I'm being like Mike Scioscia today. Somebody asked him about, is there anything you're thinking about as far as the plans about the team, the rotation, the bullpen? He gave a pretty good look to a couple reporters. We have work to do. So we have work to do, Victor.
What's it matter if we do that work with or without facial hair?
It's not there yet.
You think it might just throw us off?
Got to get there first.
All right, well, the kid's growing a beard.
Yes.
I mean, that's how long that fifth and sixth inning took. He grew a beard. Fowler swinging a miss, 1-1. Grant Green. That's pretty good beard.
Yes.
Green takes over at second for Kendrick. He was the pinch runner for Howard. Fowler. This one out toward shallow right. Grant is out there. One down. And Josh Donaldson has just struck out to end the game in Seattle. So Oakland loses once again. Now that's a serious go-to right there.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. I say let's go that route. You know, for the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
You're in?
Soon.
We got to get approval for that. Now that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
The Walrus Stash. Carter fouls it off. 4-2 the final in Seattle. Fernando Rodney closes it out after giving up back-to-back singles to start the ninth. Of course.
Yeah, of course. But able to finish it off.
Yep. So now Seattle a half game back of the Oakland A's.
They're tied in the loss column. Though.
Yeah.
And King Felix on the mound tomorrow night.
And if I'm not mistaken, math-wise, I think they're tied with Kansas City for the second wild card spot now. So Oakland has wild card 1. Detroit 1. Kansas City lost. So Kansas City and Seattle equal. Win tonight for the Angels. It'll be an 11-game lead and a magic number of 5. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Carter twice intentionally walked. He struck out. He's 0 for 1. Moore working his second inning of relief. You know, he could go the old-fashioned route and harken back to the days of a young lad, grew up in Philadelphia, played for the Kansas City Royals, and just go playoff mullet.
I could deal with that.
You could?
Yes.
This one shot through the hole and toward left center field. A base hit. Cowgill cuts it off to the backhand. He'll hold Carter to his 1-out single.
Well, it was hit so well with the shift on to that left side of the infield. Still got it through there.
Folks, the most popular way to follow the Angels' push to the postseason, there's that word again.
There it is
with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, instant replays, scores, live radio broadcasts, the MLB.TV game of the day and more. Get At Bat for your smartphone or tablet on the App Store or log on at Angels.com for more details. I'd have no chance at a mullet.
You can give it a shot.
No.
Give it a shot.
At this pace, the mullet might be ready by spring training.
I think we saw the World Series Game 1 starts October 21st.
Something like that.
Yes. You got time.
I could go the Hank Conger Dragon Tail from a couple of years ago. Now that I might be able to.
That would be a perfect
off.
look for you.
Castro lays off. He's 0 for 3 tonight with 2 strikeouts and a fly ball to right. Single by Carter, the 8th hit for Houston. Navarro play by Carter at first. Castro fouls this one off the left. Full count. Vinny Pastano had been loosening for the Angels, and he's ready to go. 21 pitches thrown by Morin. Vinny was up earlier in this ball game as well. $33,339 here tonight to open up the last homestand of the season. First of a 3-game set. A lot of folks took off after the 6th inning. Angels made it 11-3. Those that remain are now doing the wave. Three-two to Castro. Swing and a miss. Down he goes. 2 outs. Second strikeout for Morin.
Pitch count getting up for Mike Morin. Looks like Mike Scioscia is going to go down to the bullpen now, and he is. It's a very good little slider. Swing and miss out in front.
Pitching change here the 7th with the Angels up 11-3. Photos using hashtag WestFanPhoto, and your photo could be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Suffering Fools. Now see, now that's an all-time great Twitter handle. We appreciate the picture. Keep sending them in. 15 games left on the docket. Back at it tomorrow at 6:05 here.
Some huge crowds here for the last 9 at home.
Vinny Pastano takes over. 2 outs and a man at first. He'll face Jake Marisnick. 19 games this year. 0-1, 3.95 ERA. And he pitched yesterday. Went 2/3 of an inning. Struck out 2. First, this is up and in. Much better outing last night than the previous night. Throwing gas and picking up those 2 strikeouts.
He hides the baseball well, throws across his body, so difficult to track as a hitter.
Resnick 2 for 3, a couple of singles and an RBI. Let's just foul it out of play on the right side.
He is a strikeout machine. 11 strikeouts at 4 2/3 innings pitched as an Angel.
One, two. Check swing. Didn't go. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Angels in the bottom of the 7th have Ibar, Iannetta, and Navarro due up. Only changes so far for the Angels, other than pitchers, is Efren at first base. Grant Green, who came in and took over for Howie as a pinch runner last inning. Left it out to right. Cole back on it a couple of steps is them. And we'll head to 7th inning stretch time here at the Big A. Angels up 11-3.
Rams trucks. Mike Trout does everything extremely well. Howie hits a fly ball to deep center field. Fowler tracks it down. Trout going to third, looks back to see where the baseball is not caught and secured by VR, ends up coming around to score the 2nd run of the game. Using those wheels to score a gift run for Mike Trout.
Michael Fultinovich takes over on the mound near the bottom of the 7th inning for the Houston Astros. 0-1 with a 5.40 ERA in 10 games this year, 11 2/3 innings, 15 hits, 11 strikeouts, 6 walks. He'll be throwing to a new catcher. Max Stassi is behind the plate. Gordon Beckham will pitch it here. Gregorio Petit is the new third baseman. Mark Krause, the new first baseman, and Alex Presley, the new center fielder. Beckham hitting .224, batting in Eric Ibar's spot. It's a 1 ball, 1 strikeout. Ibar finishes the night going 2 for 3 with a couple of singles. Offs this one up. Foul territory. Stassi. Make the catch. 1 away.
And Beckham was taking a lot of ground balls earlier today at shortstop.
Sean O'Malley will come up and pinch hit now for Chris Iannetta. O'Malley making his major league debut Sunday. Picked up a couple of hits against the Twins. He'll look at a strike at 98-mile-per-hour fastball. Cuts through that one.
Yeah, Voltinovich can throw his fastball 95 to 99. You saw that one touch at 99. Slider, good curveball and a changeup.
Very similar to Josh Fields, the right-hander that the Astros have in the bullpen as far as mechanics. Facing O'Malley, he's 26 years of age. Native of Richland, Washington. Originally a 5th-round pick by the Rays back in '06. Nine seasons in the minor leagues for O'Malley. 721 games. Chance and taste of big league blackness. Krause bobbles this one. That'll be the 3rd error of the night for the Astros.
And one thing about this Astros club, they've had a tough time defensively. They've been playing great baseball of late. 8-2 in their last 10. But they have not helped out their pitching staff today in this game defensively.
Efrain Navarro up. First plate appearance for him. And that's it out towards center field. Preston, a little bit of a late jump. Comes in and makes the catch. The second out. Collins 0 for 3. Takes a breaking ball outside. This one's fouled back. That is hit out toward right center field. Presley will play it on a hop. Moving to third is O'Malley. He'll be stopped right there. Collins picks up his first hit of the night. And Tony Campana will come up to pinch hit for Cole Calhoun.
Another great game by Cole Calhoun.
12 hits tonight for the Angels. Two starters not recording hits, Pujols and Crone. Albert with a sac fly.
You're geared up for a 99-mile-an-hour fastball, and you get a changeup instead, coming off the bench. Not easy to stay back on the swing.
One ball, two strikes.
He certainly has some serious life on the fastball.
Foul back. The Angels have HOU Diaz getting ready for the 8th inning. Pistana going 1/3 of an inning, finishing up the 7th. Pana goes down swinging. The Angels are done here. The 7th will head to the 8th. 11-3 Angels. Fast free quote at MercuryInsurance.com today and see how much you can save. Buy Jack in the Box and Jack's Spicy Chicken Club Combo for just $4.99 plus tax. And buy Hyundai. The all-new Sonata is here. Visit buyhyundai.com. Beautiful night for baseball, a warm one, but the Angels certainly not cooling off of the bats. 12 hits, 11 runs. They continue to swing it, even though Brett Oberholzer, when he started this game, retired the first 9 batters in a row, and the Angels got it going in the 4th inning with 2 runs. In the 5th, 7 runs and 2 more in the 6th. It's HOU Diaz comes into the ball game, making his home debut. Pitched 1 inning in Cleveland on Monday, and a guy that's got terrific stuff. Just 23 years of age. He is from Venezuela, originally a catcher in the minor league system, converted to closer.
And speaking of power fastballs, he has fastballs 86 to 99, has even touched the century mark. Big time power curveball too. That one's at 88 to 90 on a curveball.
John Buck will get the nod here in the 8th inning.
What an original. The first draft by the Astros.
Yeah.
The craze for Matt Shoemaker with the beard.
John McDonald, the new shortstop. Beckham stays in the game at 3rd. O'Malley stays in the game at left. Campana in center. Cowgill shifts over to right. Mentioned Buck, and now Diaz on the mound. This is Gregorio Petit. First plate appearance for him as he took over defensively for Dominguez. Krause is on deck. 7, 8, 9 for Houston here in this 8th inning. 274 batting average for Petit. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Two and 1. Diaz started the season at Inland Empire. Advanced A ball, went 2 of 3 with 4 saves. He went to Double-A Arkansas as the count evens up now at 2 of 2. 27 appearances for Double-A Arkansas, went 2 of 1 with 11 saves and a 2.20 ERA. Signed with the Angels back in 2007. 2-2. Down goes Petit.
That's that power curveball. An 88-mile-an-hour curveball.
One out, nobody on, and Mark Krause coming up. Oakland lost tonight to Seattle 4-2. So the Angels with an opportunity to close that magic number down. Krause looks at a fastball for a strike at 100 miles per hour.
Angels with their ace on the mound tomorrow night, Jared Weaver, for his 17th victory.
Just missed. Scott Feldman on the hill for Houston. And then on Sunday afternoon, Dallas Keuchel, the lefty, going up against Hector Santiago.
It's a real good pitching matchup there, too.
1-1 pitch. It's 2 balls, 1 strike. Halos looking for their 92nd victory of the season.
Diaz does a nice job. He starts on that third base side of the pitching rubber, right over the top. That's what makes his curveball effective also.
Down goes Krause.
That's a nasty curveball. That's twice now he's got a strikeout in this inning where the pitch really wasn't all that close to the plate. But you have to try to gear up to a fastball at 99 to 100. Then he snaps off this curveball with a sharp break. Good job by Buck to be able to scoop that low breaking ball.
When you get swings like that, the odds are the guy on the mound's got pretty good fuzz.
Yes, he throws like a catcher, straight over the top, short arms it.
Jonathan Villar, the shortstop, has struck out 3 times tonight, so he's 0 for 3. Went around. One outside. Halos have McDonald, Pujols, and Green, I believe, due up. Done this quite a bit over the last week here as far as the old spring training lineup situation here with all the runs that the Angels have scored, pulling their starters.
We're not having those off days. They've been able to swing the bats this well to give the everyday players an opportunity to at least get a little bit of a rest coming out in that 7th, 8th, and 9th inning.
Full count now. Robbie Grossman, the left fielder, who's gone the whole way so far on deck. Three-two. Ground ball toward the middle. Green to his right has it. Off balance throw. Nice play by Grant. And the Angels have themselves a 1-2-3-8. Right in the bottom of the frame. 11-3 Angels. Jake Buchanan, the right-hander, takes over. Buchanan pitching in his 13th big league game. 1-3 record of 5.60 ERA. 27 in the third innings. 35 hits. 14 strikeouts and 10 walks. Made his big league debut on June 21st, and he's scheduled to face 2, 3, and 4. Looks like Lucio Jimenez has come out and will pinch hit for Albert Pujols. So McDonald, Jimenez, and Green are the scheduled 3 batters, at least what I've written down anyway. After the last out, Angels Live post game will break everything down. It's presented by your SoCal Mazda dealers, Ken French and Jose Mota, along with Alex Curry. We'll break it down for you. Ken French, as a matter of fact, has excitedly just popped into the booth to say hello.
Oh, another excellent effort by Frenchie.
I know. He's excited because this is his last weekend with the Angels. He's happy that the Angels are doing well, but quack season's right around the corner.
Yeah, we're going to miss him.
Yeah. He's really happy. Going to go get that flock of seagulls hairdo going for the post-game show. John McDonald, his 90th game, 153.
Buchanan, fastballs, 87, 91, slider, curve, changeup.
One-two pitch. Bouncer foul.
Good scoop over there by Gary DiSarcina. Using those hands. Saw him well. Using those hands well over the years at shortstop. In that Angel uniform.
Angels have Cam Bedrosian getting ready for the ninth inning. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Count of the fourth reliever used by the Astros is Brett Oberholzer. 4 2/3. Gave up 6 runs, 4 earned on 5 hits. De Leon charged with 3 runs, 2 earned in his 1/3 of an inning. Full count now. DeDuno allowed 2 runs. His inning in the 3rd. Ground ball to short. VR has it. 1 out. The American League playoff picture. The Angels with a victory would have an 11-game lead in the West. Magic number would be at 5. Baltimore swept the double dip the New York Yankees, and that really hurts the Yankees' chances. But still 2 weeks to go. You never know. Detroit won today. Kansas City lost, so the Tigers now a half-game lead.
Well, how close is that wild card race, though?
Luis Jimenez. Pitch hitting here for Albert Pujols.
Albert picked up an RBI early in the game. 93 RBI now in the season for Pujols.
Twelfth game for Luis, a 154 batting average, a double and 2 runs batted in. Pulls this one to short. VR has it. High throw. Krause applies the tag. 2 outs. So Grant Green will step to the plate. 2 outs and nobody on. Buchanan's first one's in for a strike. Grant making a nice defensive play to end the 8th inning. 314 on the year. 5 doubles, a home run, 11 runs batted in.
A big base hit driving in 2 yesterday.
One, 2 from Buchanan. Called strike 3. We will head to the 9th. Halos up 11-3. Hand the ball off to Campbell-Drojan to finish this one off. Just looking for their 92nd win of the season and drop that magic number to 5 with Oakland having lost earlier tonight to the Seattle Mariners. And like you said, Mark, the wild card picture continues to get ever more crowded and more interesting.
Yeah, a lot of stress on some teams that anticipated being in the postseason, especially Oakland. And now tomorrow night have to deal with King Felix, although they do have Sonny Gray going for them. The Angels have to deal with Seattle 7 more times this year.
Cam Bedrosian will try to finish this one off. He'll be facing the top of the order. Grossman, Gonzalez, and Presley.
Still amazing when you look up. 11 runs scored again for the Halos. 7 in the 5th. Mike Scioscia, that one game at a time mentality has worked well, considering how many innings he's been having to get out of his bullpen for quite some time.
And essentially a bullpen game tonight as C.J. Wilson lasted just 5 innings. Bedrosian's the 4th reliever tonight. It doesn't help, and you've got a 5th starter, quote unquote. That is a bullpen game, and then you've got to go to the bullpen once again.
And that's what you would love to see, some length out of your starting pitchers other than that 5th starter spot.
Chopper to second. Grant Green's got it. 1 down. Brings up Marwin Gonzalez.
Second baseman, number 9, Marwin Gonzalez.
Well, in the last 9 games, 81 runs scored. That's averaging 9 per game. Batting average 328 and 40. It's 40 extra base hits. Nearly 5 a game there.
First plate appearance for Gonzalez, late on the fastball. .268 batting average for the shortstop, playing second base tonight. Wilson went the requisite 5 innings and in line for his 12th win. 107 pitches in those 5 innings. 7 hits, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks.
And a lot of run support coming into the game today. Club averaging, when he starts a game, a little over 6 runs per game. Now I'll go up even higher with 11 runs scored today.
Bouncer foul up the first base line. That's 1-2. Win tonight. The Angels will have their 48th win here at Angel Stadium. 48-24. Bad way to start off the 10-game homestand.
And their 9th straight victory overall. Either 7th straight at the Big A also. Tell you what, that big 4-game sweep of Oakland before going on the 10-day road trip was huge. The energy at this ballpark was outstanding.
This one pulled foul, and that energy was stymied in the first inning tonight. CJ ended up facing 7 batters through 30 pitches. He got everybody into it. All of a sudden things slow down, and then the second inning happens. 28 pitches in that second inning. Halos are down 2-0, and the Angels offense just could not figure out Brett Oberholzer's. He retired the first 9 to start the game.
Still think that big play too, Victor, was when Mike Trout was able to score on that fly ball by Howie in the second, is showing that speed. Read that baseball in the ground by Villar and the throw from Fowler. And all of a sudden the team and the crowd was sparked on that play. Yeah. Very next inning, 7 runs scored.
2 runs in that 4th. 1 was unearned. 2 in the 4th, 7 in the 5th, and 2 in the 6th. Three-two. And he walked him. A 1-out walk puts a man on for Presley. Presley took over defensively at the top of the 8th. Pardon me, the bottom of the 8th. Three runs, 8 hits, 3 errors, 9 left on for the Astros. 11 runs, 12 hits, 1 error, and 5 left on for the Angels. Cole Calhoun, a 3-hit game. Mike Trout, a multi-hit game with a couple of extra base hits. David Freese, an opposite field 2-run home run in that 5th inning. Bouncing foul, 1-1.
Okay, when you look at this lineup, scoring a ton of runs, leading Major League Baseball in that category, yet no regular hitting over 300. It's been a collection of all 9 batters with good swings and coming through in different times and key times.
Two balls, 1 strike. Two balls, 2 strikes. Gonzalez, the base runner at first. Long one tonight. Well worth it. You're an Angels fan. 2-2. Outside with the off-speed pitch. Another full count. 15 pitches thrown by Cam. 8 balls, 7 strikes. That's ripped to right, a base hit. Gonzalez will advance to second and stop right there. So 2 on and 1 out, and that'll bring up L.J. Hose pinch hitting here. DH spot. Carter ends up going 1 for 2 with a single and a couple of walks. Hose hitting just 175, 3 home runs and 11 runs batted in. At one time tonight, 33,339 were in the house. Strike.
Now let's look at cross up. Not going to go out to talk to Drozian about the signs. Well, he was anticipating a high fastball, instead got a slider.
Mike Moore won an inning and 2/3 tonight. Vinny Pistano a third of an inning. Jairo Diaz went 1 with 2 strikeouts. Now Bedrosian. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. fan ending up on the ground for the foul ball. Painless, I'm sure.
Getting a lot of high fives, though.
Yeah. Two balls, two strikes. A battle here for Cam Bedrosian just to finish this one off.
Yeah, we talked about it the other day too with Cam. He had stuff, there's no question. Translate into potentially be a closer down the road, and just trying to be more consistent with the strike zone, especially with his slider. We saw that very effective in the spring training games, but overthrown it here in the big leagues.
Swing and a miss. Down goes Hose. Two down. So 2 outs now. And up steps Stassi.
Scherzer going upstairs with a four-seam fastball. Great life on this pitch. Upstairs, you get a swing and miss. 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Stassi takes up and away. Catcher took over for Castro last inning. Fifth career game. A couple of men on and 2 outs here in the ninth. 1-0 down. 2-0. .24 pitches thrown by Bedrosian right down the middle. 12 balls, 12 strikes. Wade LeBlanc is loosening in the pen. Two one now. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, that fastball had some life at 96.
They've been waiting a while to stand on their feet here in this ninth inning. And now they get that opportunity.
The beard.
Has it begun? Possible.
Yes.
2-2. Swing and a miss. Light that baby up as the Angels take the first one against the Houston Astros tonight. The final 11-3.
Boy, it's certainly an impressive effort once again by the Angels. They've won their 9th straight. When Cole Calhoun scores a run, the Angels win. That's 24 straight games. The Angels have won when Cole Calhoun has scored a run. It continued on as Mike Socha's club, dominant once again, as now they pick up another game on the Oakland A's. 11 games back the A's are now, and the magic number is 5.
To clinch the American League West, to clinch a playoff spot in general is a worst-case scenario. But the Angels focus on one thing, and that is bringing back that American League Western Division flag back to Angel Stadium. The Halos win at 11-3. C.J. Wilson goes 5 innings and picks up the victory. The offense once again explodes. 11 runs on 12 hits, any number of heroes. And the one guy that's leading the charge for this Angels ball club is the hitting coach, Don Baylor.
Like it.
Yeah, why not? Let's go to Alex.
Thank you, Victor. Don, A 9-game win streak for this team, a season high. It seems like once this offense gets going, there's no stopping them.
Well, they've worked hard to get where they are right now. So we just keep our heads down. We work hard every day. The guys are positive, and that's what you put together winning streaks. Once you get behind in the ball game, you just feel like you're going to come back. So that's what we've been doing all week.
And the second time through the order, it seemed like these guys found success and never looked back. What adjustments did they make at the plate?
Well, they read the pitcher a lot of times, what he's doing, and they just pass it on to the next guy, and it's good to see because that's what good hitting teams do.
81 runs in the last 9 games. When you hear something like that, how impressed are you with this team?
Well, we went through just a tough streak. We got kicked in the shins down in Houston, where we lost 2 and came back and won 9 straight, so it's pretty impressive.
Well, thank you. Congratulations on a great win.
All right, thank you.
Once again tonight, the Angels prove why they are the best team in baseball. But don't go anywhere, because Ken French and Jose Mota will break it all down next on Angels Live.